All right, everyone. So thanks for joining us today. This is Josh Jovanovic, your host of Transcendence Talks. This is episode 6. We are lucky to have our special guest today, Elina. She is from Encoded Energy. I'm going to let her introduce herself, let her discuss who she is and where she comes from. But this episode, I know we've done a lot on healthy eating and talking about calming our mind. This one is going to be more focused on energy healing because that is who she is. But I will let you introduce yourself. Elina, how are you?
Hi guys, I'm Elina. I'm really happy to have this session with you, Joshua, because as far as I know, you also work with energies and you feel energies and the fields around you. So as for me, I'm an energy healer and a multi-dimensional galactic channeler. And I call myself also a starseed coach, ascension coach, because it happened to be that I am an awakened starseed from Alpha Centauri, Venusian line, and I have support from Pleiadian Council. So I basically attune with the high frequencies of those star races and transmit healing energies. This
Good.
is what I do. I work with chakra systems. I work with timelines as well. I work with planetary, grids. Um, Specifically, like after the solar eclipse, there was a lot of work in their planetary grids, and I was doing with other light workers.
So, for people that don't know, thank you for that. This is something that, yes, it is there's going to be some stuff in here that you listen to that may not make sense, that it may resonate with you. It depends.
Yes.
Because me and Elina both, we randomly met. Things aren't by chance, but we met. We've been going through some similar ups, some similar struggles because awakening is not all about it's not all about happiness and butterflies. It's actually, I would say, the opposite. You're learning who you are. You're learning your soul's contract. You're learning why you're here, what you are meant to do on this planet, and there's a lot that comes with that. Takes a lot of personal responsibility because there's so much that comes with it. You have to learn a whole bunch. You have to really do some deep meditations. There's a lot of purging that goes on in your own energy fields, but there's a lot of information that if it doesn't make sense, please feel free to message us here. I'll answer what I can, anything I can. Alina always knows what she's talking about, so I can always reach out to her. But some of this stuff some of it may even seem far fetched for you, but I can promise you that we have been through some wild journeys. And that's one of the best things about this is that when you think about it, and I look back on the last year since my angel visit, it's a journey, and being appreciative of the journey is part of it. So, Alina, I really wanted to ask you just if you could share a little bit about your journey and what you've been on so far. It doesn't have to be anything too in detail, but just kind of share with the audience what you've been through and how really you've been helping people.
Okay, so I think I had a pretty traditional background. I have a degree in psychology and I studied neuroscience for like 10 years. And I also got a certification in neuro linguistic programming. So I really loved all the mental processes that run behind our conscious mind, and I was really investigating how our subconscious mind makes decisions. And I wasn't much into energy and chakra system because I was really a traditional psychologist. And so I hosted a few group sessions for women to cope with their struggles, emotional traumas, and different patterns that will keep repeating, like keep repeating themselves over and over. And so I knew nothing about other realms,
Yeah.
higher dimensions. let alone concept of star races or alien consciousness. But I think now we can share more and more information on YouTube and other, you know, uh, spiritual guides, because now it's more in the open. And but back then, a few years ago, I was not aware what it was. Basically, I never heard about it. But what happened is, one night I had a surreal dream. I just see somebody is giving me the CD with a label on it, that said Elina's Akashic Records. And seems like there wasn't some invisible player, CD player, even though we can hardly see in real life those, CD players. So yeah, and the record plays itself, and I hear the voice, the woman voice, speaking English actually, although I am a Russian native speaker. So and many times I see dreams and channel information in English specifically. So I hear, "Hi, dear sister from Alpha Centauri. We're so happy to connect with you. And this is your mission here on Earth." And I said, "What am I supposed to do?" And, because she started talking about working with people, right? Like on it, like through different, I guess, modalities, which I did not understand back then. And I asked, "So what exactly I'm supposed to do?" And she said, "Well, you don't have to do anything. You just have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be present. You have to be
Yeah.
available. You have to be available, and people will follow." I'm like, okay. So I woke up and I thought, this is strange. What is Akashic Records? What is Alpha Centauri? I went on Google, and what I could find was just some description from, news from astronomy, like, yes, actually that specific year, 2021, they did find the exoplanet in that star system that they believe could have a potential in our life, potentially. so okay, yes, the star system exists. I'm like, okay, fine. So I just continued living my life. I also was a business owner back then. I had a small management company, and I think the next year, things started to change for me. All of a sudden,
So it took, real quick, it took almost a year for you to start to really get into it?
I wasn't investigating that because I thought it was just a funny dream. Okay?
Yeah, it's so weird you said that, because that was mine too. I thought mine was a dream, but go ahead, finish. I just figured mine took a long time too.
And exactly a year later, I started to just know, I just know about upcoming events, like that would be happening to the people around me, my close friends, things, in my life, just out of nowhere. I didn't know where I get this information from, like visions, thoughts, I guess. And
can I ask you this while you're saying that, for your thoughts? Do you hear something? Like, for me, just as an example, it happened to me the other night. I was laying down, about to go to sleep, and I got this like electrical charge almost that went through my brain, and I heard a woman's voice not say out loud, but I heard her say, "Josh." And then I was like, that was weird. And then again, I heard, "The universe supports you." And that was like at a time when I really needed it. So I don't know if you hear these voices as like out loud, or are you hearing them in your mind?
Well, right now, as I became a channeler, I hear the voices. Yes. back then, before my channel opened, it was like in the form of a thought, but I knew it wasn't my thought, right?
Yeah.
It was just something else. And then this things basically started to happen. This information that I received beforehand just materialized, as you would say. And the was surprising. Then a year later, what we call it is like the third eye opening, right? It's like if we use some esoteric spiritual terms, that would be your third eye
Okay.
open, like your
Right here.
ajna center, yes. So then I still continued living life, but although I did meet a nice transformative coach, because I needed some guidance in my personal life. And he turned out to be also an energy healer, and he offered me to balance my chakra system. And I said, what is it? Okay, fine, I will just go along. Okay, whatever you recommend, I trust you. Like 1 week we would have a normal counseling session, and another week we would have our energy healing. And then I think after probably he did some clearing, right? Clearing and balancing of what I do right now, actually, for people.
And explain what that is, just because there's going to be people that listen that don't know what clearing and balancing even means. What does that mean?
Well, we do have energetic imprints from past events that happened to us, like traumatic events. Also, some imprints, like electric charge, we carry from our past reincarnations. Not only from this current lifetime, but also from lives before. As souls, we come back to learn and evolve as the spiritual beings. But some, let's say, some problems or karmic debts were not resolved, so we would carry it over to this timeline. And that would be sitting on our, let's say, energy system and influence our decisions, influence our well-being, probably not as much as our current lives are, actions.
Yes.
But they also makes, they also do influence at some point, because as you go deeper and deeper in different layers of who you are and your energy system, you find out a lot of layers that probably need to be balanced. So you become more whole. So you become more confident about who you are and speak your truth and be authentic to yourself, and see all the programs around you, because also there are different programs like scarcity programs, then insecurity programs, like what would in psychology would call as imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yes. Also, why clearing our centers and harmonizing our centers is important is because once you have it all aligned, you can build a straight like flow of light going through your crown chakra all the way down to your root chakra and onto the earth crystal and come back. So it's a full circle, and gives you this vital energy to succeed, to express yourself freely, and many other things, as well as your physical health.
I would say I totally agree with everything you're saying, because the big part for me was, one, I don't know for you, but for me, like my energy, the field that I've built, like mine is everywhere. I can feel it. It's all around. It started in the pit of my stomach and now it's like everywhere. But for me, I think the two biggest things it's not an insecurity thing. It has nothing to do with imposter. It has more to do with the continued expansion of my consciousness. Because
Mm-hmm.
as you expand it more and more, you let your mind stop controlling you. You let your emotions stop controlling you. You just like feel more in tune with everything. That was the big thing that
Exactly.
I think the biggest, I wouldn't say it's not a problem, it's a challenge. But I think the
It's a
biggest,
challenge to balance everything because not only we have the vortexes of energy throughout our core, we also have what you call the field,
yeah,
and we have different subtle bodies, like it's just the emotional body, etheric body, astral body,
yeah,
and causal body, and others. So that's why, as you say, you experience this expansion because not only you also feel all inside, you also feel outside. So you
outside, big
allow
time.
you, yes, you connect to uh every being and everything in cosmos and earth and our trees, our plants,
Plants,
people,
people,
animals.
yes, everything. You can feel, you know what else is a really cool part of it is like I've always been able to express like love for people and kindness and things. It's always been a part of my life, but I don't know about you, but I've noticed songs, events. I started working at this rehab, so like it's like helping me connect more with people, and I like cry a lot more because I feel like I am just like so in tune with people's pain that like I can feel when it's a good feeling and it like elates it.
Mhm.
There's like an elation to it of like, good, maybe they don't have as much pain. And I think that's a big part of this is connecting with people is a big thing. Finding out your soul's path is a big thing. And one thing I was going to ask you is because we've kind of both been going through this
Mhm.
is the hardest the hardest thing so far for me. And I know to my core, I know as I see you here, I know to my core, I've I haven't met, it's not a person, but I've been in front of the creator, source, whatever you want to call it, when I had my angel visit. So I know what love and bliss truly feels like. And I know that I'm being guided. And I know that I'm channeling messages when I need to. I'm meeting the right people when I need to. And I know everything is going to be better than I can even expect. But I was going to ask you your opinion on this. Would you say one of the hardest things is truly trusting the universe and continuing to go on your path? Because on my journey, I've known everything I've needed has been here. But that goes back to that lack or scarcity thing where you go, all right, but I'm struggling a little, and I think struggle's part of growth. So, what do you feel about your trust with the universe or the creator, whatever it is? Because that's been my hardest part of the path. Is I know for a fact I'm okay,
Okay.
but continuing to go and be patient.
Um, from I can only talk through my own experience as I was undergoing a spiritual awakening and experience those ascension symptoms, the changes in your physical body as well as like things going on inside. I felt scared, overwhelmed, and as you can say, yes, you do experience their divergence, like the split your
Yes.
between your old lifestyle and the new lifestyle that you don't know here, but you probably knew what was back then, how
Yep.
you were there, like what you could
Yes.
do there, and everything worked out. But now, whatever you do in here, it doesn't work out anymore. So you lose your friends.
Yep.
As for me,
Me too.
then steady income, so I was pushed out of all our traditional jobs.
Me too.
So maintaining financial stability became a challenge.
Yes.
Like all the doors closed. Like there's no way to go. It's like a point of no return. You cannot go back. Not because you experience new things. It's just because even if you try, it just simply this is closed,
Closed.
right? It's
Yeah.
like a wall. It's like a wall over here. And then here, you kind of on your free flow. So, and you still don't know if you're doing the right thing. You know, if you're
Yeah.
if you're hearing the right thing, if you're delusional, maybe you're delusional. Who is this talking? Who is this
Yeah.
talking to me?
Yeah.
Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Okay, and also the physical symptoms for me, like I experience internal tremor, vibrations, and sometimes when there's like new upload of energies, right? Especially after the solar flares, these energies are so subtle and they're so high frequency that your body, uh, even molecular structure changes.
Yeah.
And I experienced the tremor inside, like I would sit or lie on a surface and I feel it's like shaking, like if you look at your hand, seems like they're not shaking, but inside you feel like
It's
in
wild.
it's a constant shake, like
Always. Yeah.
earthquake. That's one thing. Another thing, I experienced intense skin peeling for 2 months, as if I had some allergy, or like, you know, this contact dermatitis. There's acute inflammation of your skin. So it got to the point that it was like thick and red crust all over here. My
That's so
chest.
weird you just said that. Mine just stopped. That's weird you said that. I'm just like
Well,
kind of getting to
mine
the end of it.
stopped too. So that what I understood was the work on your what it's called, because I'm supposed to transmit also sound vibrations for healing. So the vocal cords, I guess, were you know, changing, as well as their skin, I guess. Then peeling here, it stopped. Those are weird symptoms. And then you don't sleep well. You wake up multiple times during the night. I mean, many other things. And then you're so alone in this journey,
So
because
alone.
if you share what's going on with you, people look at you like what? Like maybe you need to see if, maybe you need to go see the doctor. Like,
Yeah.
who do you really see at this point?
Not only that, I stopped sharing because it doesn't, it's the best way I heard it described was it's like when you're listening to the radio. Somebody's listening to a certain channel and you're on another channel, they can't hear that channel unless they want to tune into it. So we've just tuned into a different channel and we're
Yes.
listening on a, even though we're in the same place, we're in the same reality, it's a different channel that we're listening to, that we're tuning into, that sounds to other people if they've never been a part of it. And I get that because I would
Mhm.
have done this if I would have met you, even though I have always been so open-minded to everything. But even if I would have met you 3 years ago, I would have said to you, that lady's nuts. I don't know what she's talking about. And like now I completely get it because it's like such a different way of thinking and it's such a different way of being. And
And
that's really what it all is.
experiencing the world. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm interrupting you. Like, it's a new way of experiencing the world, because right now I sometimes fall into different dimensions being conscious. I see two realities and two different colors, even, which is crazy sometimes. And I try to control it. Um, yeah. So, and talking about the changes, then starts this intense ear ringing in the ears.
Happening to me right now, just so you know, as we're talking.
Okay, probably somebody's trying to come through. So yeah, and cracking sign, the clogging. Right now, for me, it's manageable because I right now can channel. And when this starts, I know, okay, let me sit down. I say, okay, I'm ready for receiving. And I either record or write really fast. So there are different ways you receive information, I guess. For we have different channels, but this is my way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do it the same as you. Of course, we're all different. Mine comes through where so I get a couple things. One, I get like a sign of something and it's right when I need it. Like the other night, I had a wild dream where I truly felt something grabbed my brain, shocked it, and then I got this wild dream of me flying and then getting bit by a shark. And then I meet this energy healer the next day, and she was talking about different things. And as I'm driving home, I got a weird sign that it was like a DMT trip that I had while I was sleeping, because that's what our brain produces. So, like, signs like that, or a person comes along right away, or like sometimes, like you said, I'll just get a thought that wasn't there before. So I don't sit down necessarily every day. I meditate. I do it by the beach now, which is nice. Every day I take a break. I meditate for a while and something good comes along. But I feel like yours is more channeled. Mine is more feeling than channeling. I
Yes.
just feel
Yeah.
what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, you feel through the energetic fields around,
Yeah.
because everything has their energetic field. Me, I work with informational and informational fields,
Yeah.
and where their information is hidden, right? I think my perception route is a little bit different, and talking about when somebody wants to come through. So as we're talking about my awakening, so after this ability to receive information as a thought, a year later, things started to rapidly change in terms of, as you can say, there's a flash of energy on top of your head, then on the back of your head, and then the ears. And I started to investigate what those parts of the brain are responsible for. And it seems like where I was receiving the energetic downloads were responsible for visionary processing and auditory processing. So I think when I was experiencing it daily, and then those I started to feel the presence, as you call the presence, right? Energetic presence, even the figures. And I think those were like those entities that work with me, and I could see them as a group of 2 or 3, never as a single entity. So, and at the time they would come in, I think it was the border, how would you explain to you? It was more like a trance-like state. And I
Okay.
knew when I was going through that trance-like state, and I would actually see that presence, and then the downloads would start. And then after I think it all finished, I started to hear voices.
Okay.
It's now the communication is telepathic, and the representatives come through, and they introduce themselves, and I also can now distinguish between the energies, the frequencies between different groups. So far, I had a chance to talk to archangels, then timekeepers, timekeepers, different star races, and actually Egyptian gods.
Okay.
And the other day, Isis came through for the first time, and she started to work with me, giving me some knowledge. And she told me one of my dreams. One time she came into my dream. She said, imagine you wake up one morning and you have everything that you need or you want. I think that was the single line that I remember. And then you question me, like, how do you know you're being guided? And I think that message really stuck to me and reminds me that I am being guided by a more intelligent consciousness, more
Yes.
the consciousness that connected closer to the creator, to help you also connect better.
Yes. And I think that's where there's a couple different movies that help me understand it. Interstellar, you may not even have seen that, but it's all about the fifth dimension. And the best way they put it, and I loved it, was your higher mind or that consciousness that's above that's helping is on a mountaintop. Our
Uh-huh.
rational mind, us in the 3D, are down here, and it can see every avenue you're going to take.
It's
And although
awesome.
our
Yes.
rational mind can't see it, we know where to go. We're going the right way, and it's leading us. That's when you quiet your mind. You're able to focus more on your path. Is it's guiding you in the right direction because it's looking at the mountaintop view, seeing everything. Because time doesn't exist in that realm, so it's seeing us
It
almost like a
doesn't.
straight line of like, hey, here's where to go. And I know for me, the thing that's helped me the most, that's been getting me through everything, is every time. That's why anybody that's listening to this that's going to start, because there will be more people waking up. When you are going to start this journey, you are going to struggle. It is part of your growth process. It is just going to happen. But when you trust your intuition, it is your internal GPS system telling you where to go. It is hard. It is hard to trust it at first. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know who you are. You learn a lot of the stuff we've been taught our whole lives, we've been lied to about, and things shatter for you. Trust your internal tuition. Find
Yes.
people like myself, find people like Elina, find others. It doesn't have to be us, but listen to different teachers. Whatever resonates with you, that's what you need to use, because you will struggle for a while, you will get used to it, and you will struggle again. And then you will get used to it and you will struggle again. It's just part of the process of because the way I like to put it is God, the universe, the source, whatever you want to call it, is forging you into the person that you're meant to be. So until you go through that struggle of whatever it is you need to go through, you have to force yourself to do some things. You have to follow that intuition. You need to just know that is always for your highest good. And every time I've struggled, that's where I've come from. I always stop. If I'm running too much or I'm doing something too much, I stop. I just say to myself, everything is good. Everything, this is all for my highest good. I am being guided in the right direction, over and over, until it kind of calms me down. Now I've got way better at it and I don't have to do that as much because I just know I'm on the right path. But the way you know that you're on the right path is that you lose the path. So,
Yes, you lose everything.
yes. And
Almost everything. Just
I,
okay, you
Elina,
just say the physical being.
I want to just say, just because we're kind of wrapping it up here, and I want to
Uh-huh.
thank you for being on, but I want you to be able to tell people where they can find you, your, anything that people can come find you for some energy healing. Where can they find you, and how can they get a hold of you so that you can help them in their spiritual ascension?
Okay, I am active on Instagram page and Starseed Cosmic with an underscore. And I have a website, manifestating.com. So people can find me there and
Okay.
connect to me. And I think I'm also a part of some spiritual groups on Facebook. And I sometimes answer people's questions. I love to be helpful, and I provide some advice and guidance whenever I can. Because there are a lot of people that go through the processes that are already kind of, completed, and I can really share and help and navigate them. So, yes,
Well, listen, thank you for being on. Thank you for being a friend. Thank
thank
you,
you.
because I feel like it helps me to know somebody else who's in it. Not, I know we have our own path, but when you know other people are going through similar things, it helps you to realize, hey, you're still going the right way. You share with people, find people. You will never regret this journey. I know that I have had some of the biggest, no, not some, I have had the biggest struggles of my life. But when I truly look back on things, even a month ago, 2 months ago, I am very grateful for where I am. I'm grateful for some of the growth, the struggles that led to growth. I'm grateful for the new job that I have, helping people. Um, and I know that if you start this process, you will not regret continuing to expand your consciousness and learn, because it is something that is, even though we talked for the last 40 minutes, you can't put it into words. You have to experience it yourself
Absolutely.
from the inside. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate your friendship, and
Thank you.
we will stay
Thanks
in
for
touch, okay?
having me.
Yeah,
Thanks a
no
lot.
problem.